Yeah. I love that you asked that, Dylan, because our goal is to make it so no matter who you're working with, Empora feels exactly the same. Your closing should be super easy, and no matter who you work with, it should feel the same every time. So, how it works is investor signs a contract, they go to our site, they upload the contract. We kick off all of the title work immediately, and we actually give them an instant red flags report that tells them whether or not they have gotten all the people correctly on the contract, whether they have big title issues at play, just so they can know as soon as possible whether or not there's a deal killer on that contract.
Welcome to the Real Estate Pros Show, where we interview real estate investing professionals from coast to coast, as well as the service providers that serve the real estate investing industry. Our goal is simple: share what's working now to help you improve and scale your business to the next level and meet the pros that can help you get there. Real Estate Pros is powered by Investor Fuel, America's leader in helping real estate investors and professionals build the business you need to live the life you've always dreamed of. Let's start today's show. Property insurance for real estate investors doesn't have to be difficult, but it does need to be there to protect you when you need it. MyInvestorInsurance.com not only provides insurance at 15 to 30% cheaper than traditional agencies, it's built specifically for real estate investors like you. You can set up an account in about 2 minutes, get quotes on properties, turn on and turn off insurance for your fix and flip or rental properties in around 2 minutes without having to talk to anyone directly, all through our portal. There's no better way or faster way to make sure you've got the coverage you need to protect you, and no more lengthy policies either. Once you're set up, you're billed monthly and prorated by the day for however long your policy is active. It's powered by MSI, the third largest independent MGA, with 1.5 million customers and more than $1 billion in cumulative premiums written. Get set up today in about 2 minutes at myinvestorinsurance.com/fuel.
Hey folks, welcome back to the show. Today's guest, Megan Harris, is the founder and CEO of Empora Title. Empora is a digital-first closing and title service for real estate investors. Megan, thanks for taking the time today.
Dylan, thanks so much for taking the Monday 8 a.m. slot. Really happy to meet with you all.
Hey, it's great to have you on here. And digital-first title, right? Making things easier and simplifying the process for folks. I was listening to a podcast you were on before hopping on here with you, and it seems like for a long time people were maybe not open to the digital first process, but of course there was a lot of demand for it, right?
Yeah, absolutely. So, my background, I started in this business about a decade ago, and I was actually building wire fraud prevention software for title companies. And long story short, I spent about 5 years meeting with them and seeing their processes and really seeing the role that title companies play in the closing process. Everybody knows that they handle an important step, but nobody really knows how it actually works. And so, I saw an opportunity to make it better and decided to start my own about 5 years ago now.
When we talk about starting a title company, I know it's different in wherever you are. So you're based out of Ohio. Was Empora based out of Ohio initially?
Yeah, we're headquartered in Columbus, Ohio. The Ohio community has been absolutely great supporting our first few years of growth, especially as we've gone through different growing pains. And Ohio is already a great market for investors. So we're headquartered here. And frankly, we're going to continue to grow here as well.
When we talk about, launching a title company, there's a ton of competition in title, right? So you're in a big city like Columbus. How do you get started, in that first couple months in that first year? How do you get up to the on-ramp, right?
Yeah. So, yeah, it's a great story. So, I was working at another tech company here in Columbus and had a lot of support in the early days getting Empora off the ground. And like many people, I got tapped into the investor community through a mastermind. Went to Costa Rica with about 35 real estate investors who have all since grown really successful businesses here in Columbus and really started leaning into creating partnerships with those folks. And it really took off from there. So one of the things that we've figured out that I don't think any other title company really has the privilege of is how to get connected to new investors on almost every single closing.
Stop living on an island and join the #1 mastermind in America for professional real estate investors. Investor Fuel is a community of hundreds of the nation's top investors working together to build stronger businesses and better lives. In addition to the amazing community of real estate investors acting as a board of advisors for one another, Investor Fuel members have access to 100% funding on purchase and repairs for our members only, a health insurance program, and benefits and discounts that more than pays for the membership of most of our members, meaning it's actually costing you money to not be a member of Investor Fuel. If you're looking to scale your business and build a business that allows you to live the life of your dreams, please visit investorfuel.com today and book a call with our team.
So, because we focused 100% on investors, our whole platform is tailored to people who are, wanting to spend less time on title and closing and more time closing deals.
Yeah, I mean, when we talk about ways that these transactions can be facilitated, it is still, somewhat of an antiquated process. It also feels like every place that you go to may have a slightly different. You also are not sure what type of communication you're going to have. Walk me through what makes Empora different.
Yeah. So the first thing is that we are investor focused, and that is the group that we tailor 100% of our time and energy to. We have figured out how to train and grow a bench of escrow officers for national scale. So we are really focused on building local service at national scale. And there's really no other title company that has a plan for growing and retaining and really motivating top talent. So if you go to the title conferences, there's a huge problem in the industry right now where people are retiring or leaving or finding other professions, and there's not a ton of people going into title. So from a talent perspective, that's something that we're really focused on figuring out, and we're really aiming to build the top employer brand for closing professionals.
What
After that,
is
oh, go
what's
ahead.
the reason for that? Is it because margins are can be slim and there is a lot of competition, right? That people are in many cases overworked and they're feeling like, well, I don't have any opportunity to grow here, and so I've been putting in all this time and this effort, and I don't see it translating. Is that why people are either looking for another opportunity or going to a different industry entirely?
Yeah, title companies, there's a lot of really smart people who work inside title companies who've built their careers learning everything that they've learned. But building a scalable operation that teaches other people that knowledge and really focuses on growth is a completely different mindset as a business owner. So that's not something that a lot of the local companies necessarily have the time and resources to figure out. So, technology has certainly helped us with that quite a bit, and we strongly believe that technology, especially with everything happening in AI, is the secret weapon for investors of the next decade.
Walk me through, if we can, the process. If I have a deal and I'm reaching out to Empora Title, is there a standardized process like an intake from cradle to grave? Each deal is going to be different, of course, but walk me through the process.
Yeah. I love that you asked that, Dylan, because our goal is to make it so no matter who you're working with, Empora feels exactly the same. Your closing should be super easy, and no matter who you work with, it should feel the same every time. So, how it works is investor signs a contract, they go to our site, they upload the contract. We kick off all of the title work immediately, and we actually give them an instant red flags report that tells them whether or not they have gotten all the people correctly on the contract, whether they have big title issues at play, just so they can know as soon as possible whether or not there's a deal killer on that contract. And then, they can go back to our site. They get assigned a dedicated point of contact who becomes an expert on their business and their deal that they can reach out to at any time. We call the sellers within 2 hours of getting the contract every single time and establish rapport with them. And then end buyers actually submit their earnest money via our site as well. So no more having to go to the bank to send wires. I know it's a little bit different in Texas with your option money agreements that you all have down there, but for the most part, that's how it works.
If you're looking for consistent, high-quality leads, look no further than Investor Machine. Investor Machine isn't just another agency, it's the most sophisticated, data-driven lead generation company on the planet for real estate investors, and serves the role of being not just a lead generator for your business, but a marketing partner that is helping you achieve your goals along the way. Go to investormachine.com to learn more and schedule a call with our team today.
And then leading up to closing, people are able to, like you mentioned before, close digitally and really lean into that piece. That's something that, has really become a national common theme for the past few years. And probably the most exciting thing, Dylan, the piece that we released in 2025 that I am just personally so excited about is our live HUD feature. So we have spent, about $30 million of technology investment capital to automate this process. And the result is investors can go to our site and get live numbers at any given time. As soon as they upload the contract and every day throughout the process, they know exactly where they stand. So no more having to reach out over email and ask for HUDs, ask for updates, wonder where things are. It's all right there at their fingertips. So title's never in the way.
Okay, that's amazing. And by the way, kudos to you for being able to overcome so many of those hurdles. Because even if it was doing one of those litany of things, it would have been a huge service, right? You talked about like being able to upload docs and be assigned someone, and you see it there versus having to reach out every time, and you maybe bounce around between multiple different people. So I like that it's clear, but then also being able to offer like logistical advantages, a digital HUD, right, that you have at your fingertips. That is such a huge advantage. And I know this because of having been in this space and working with, flippers who are buying, distressed assets. You oftentimes don't get the HUD until like right before closing. And so that can throw everything off because now you're talking about like super granular, what's this line on the HUD, and it's multiple days before closing. And you're thinking to yourself, well, this is going to blow up the whole deal. Why is it so hard for title in general? I'm not saying you specifically, but the industry. Why is it so hard for title companies to get a HUD breakdown prior to closing?
Yeah, it's a great question. I'd say the first thing is they don't have the technology and the systems that allow them to do it quickly. So, we've built our whole infrastructure to make it as easy as possible. So if a transaction coordinator puts in a purchase price when they upload the contract, that goes all the way through. It goes onto all their documents. It goes directly on the HUD. That's obviously the easiest number to reference, but they don't have the systems for it. And to title companies' credit, building a repeatable service model that really says, okay, this is our approach to customer service. This is who we serve, and this is how we're going to make it happen is a tough thing to do. So, technology is going to be the thing that really enables it for everyone, and it's definitely, like I said, the secret weapon for the next decade.
Without giving away all the gold, Megan, and I know this is probably a tricky area because it's so complicated. What goes into creating a HUD breakdown? Are people pulling from like, hey, here's a tax that we need to have in here. Here's local fees that we need to incorporate here. Of course, it's going to be different by every area. In some cases, are title officers having to reach out and get someone on the phone to identify the various issues that could be coming up, or fees that are associated. What goes into a HUD breakdown?
Yeah. Well, I'm sure you know about this. I'm sure this will resonate with you as an agent, but if you think about a HUD, it's really just an agreement between two or more people, and there are about 30 other people who need paid. So sometimes I think about us as we're the debt collectors of real estate. We make sure that everybody gets paid at closing and everybody is walking away whole. So really a HUD is just a ledger where every single person is getting their piece of the pie, whether it's a bank that's getting paid off a law firm who's, handling a sticky situation. Obviously, the agents are a really common thing, even in investor world. The agreements in the contracts themselves, which, are not necessarily standardized from one market to the next. So those are really the biggest pieces.
If you're a new or newer real estate investor looking to launch or grow your real estate investing business, please check out Investor Fuel Club. It's a coaching community, but unlike anything you've ever seen before. And you can actually partner with members of our mastermind from coast to coast on deals right in your market. There's no better opportunity to build a consistent business than to literally partner with pros to help you avoid costly mistakes, avoid the need for capital to do deals, and help you eliminate your fears as you're starting your business. Learn more about Investor Fuel Club at investorfuel.com/club.
I want to ask you about the retail side. I know you're focused on investors, and I've worked with investors for 2 years prior to becoming a realtor focused on retail. But for the first time buyers, they'll look at a price of a home and they'll say, okay, well, that's, probably the price of the home, right? But they oftentimes are not taking into account closing costs, right? And so they need a HUD breakdown too. Does anything to your knowledge exist like this for retail buyers where they can see a HUD breakdown, prior to closing? Or is it for them like, hey, a couple days before closing, you'll get the HUD breakdown?
Yeah, they can do it with us if they want right now.
I I I have to reach out to you for this because when people talk about one of the frustrations that is commonly voiced, some of it is the lending process, and I understand that. Another of it is these costs that are like obfuscated that you don't necessarily see that you feel like are then tossed on you at the end, and it can be very frustrating. They've even implemented, I know in Texas specifically, like this 3-day period where you have to review the HUD, I believe, because you don't want to get this thrown at you at closing or like the day before closing. So it's good that they're doing things like that, but to be able to have an idea of what it looks like, with some certainty before that, potentially weeks before that, is a huge deal.
Yeah, 100%. It really just keeps everybody aligned and it makes sure that there's no surprises at the closing table. Uh, we have KPIs for every aspect of our process. We're really, really happy when people show up to closing and leave with no surprises and say it was just a smooth, easy experience for them. So um, that obviously, I'm sure as an agent, that just makes the whole process more enjoyable for everyone if that's the case.
Yeah, I think the more we have of that, the better. And then also, too, I do think that because everyone is always on their phone, right? We're going to be leaning more into this idea of like buying homes, maybe not 100% digitally in 2026, but to some degree, people are going to be going through the whole process on their phone, right? So they're going to be reaching out to the realtor. The realtor is typically going to refer them to a lender, but that process can be a little bit wonky. If it may feel a little disjointed. So I could see people coming in and innovating that. But then the process of closing feels like another massive hurdle to overcome. So I feel like folks and realtors and investors who are able to really lean into digital, that you're going to set yourself, a whole level above everybody else. So if I'm reaching out to a buyer and say, oh yeah, we're going to be closing digitally, we have Empora Title over here. That's going to be a huge, you know, difference maker versus someone else whose process is not going to be as good on the transparency and communication side, but also, as simple, right?
Yeah, for sure. We see, frankly, one of the things that has been really interesting to us is everybody knows that there are a lot of people in real estate who aren't necessarily using technology in their day to day yet. Dylan, 70% of every single seller, 70% of all sellers that we've ever worked with log into our system to get information. So 7 out of 10. And whenever I point that stat out, investors are often surprised because they think like, oh, most sellers are not tech savvy. I'm like, you have a few people you work with every week who hate it. And oh, by the way, the rest of them actually are used to it. And to your point, most consumers expect it. So when I talk to agents and investors that we work with most commonly, they're really focused on building brands that are forward thinking, are high growth. And I have yet to find a single, investor or agent who is growing quickly and really building, a market leading business without, leaning on a more modern brand.
Yeah, I mean, it's critical right now, especially with the way things are going. At this point, if you're not leaning into it, you're maybe shooting yourself in the foot to some degree because things are gonna, you know, pace by you quickly, especially with the way things are going. We are coming up on time here, though, Megan. Where can folks go to reach out to your team? How can folks learn more about Empora Title?
Yes, we would love to connect with the Investor Fuel community. And we actually have, in addition to our live HUD offering that we just put out in 2025, we also have another release coming up soon that is even bigger and even more game changing. And we would like to invite the Investor Fuel community to participate in it before anyone else. So they can actually reach out to me directly at megan@emporatitle.com. You got the email of the CEO right here, everyone. That's how you know it's real. And if you put Investor Fuel 2026, we will get you access to your next secret weapon to grow this year.
Megan, thank you so much for your time today. Thanks for coming on.
Thank you, Dylan. I hope you have a great rest of your day.
Thanks for joining us for today's show. You can learn more about the amazing benefits of the Investor Fuel Mastermind community, including surrounding yourself with hundreds of other rock stars, 100% financing on your deals, and members-only discounts from vendors you're likely already using that, as a member of Investor Fuel, will save you more than the cost of your membership. Visit investorfuel.com to learn more. You can also check out the show's notes for access to free resources, how to get access to world-class lead generation, and even how to work with me directly one-on-one. Don't forget to subscribe so you never miss another episode. See you on the next show.